Hello dear students, today I'm here with a brief session on some of the very important instructions that you all need to follow for your English exam that is on 15th February 2025. This is your first exam and I'm sure this is a very important exam for you all, and you are preparing for your board exam for the very first time, and there is a pressure always, some kind of pressure is always there, and I'm sure that you have certain expectations. When you work hard, you have expectations. So how to accomplish this goal of getting 80 out of 80 in English? One should never underestimate, and we all have that potential to achieve the best. So let's aim for the best, and let's just go through the instructions that we all need to follow for our English exam. Let's begin. First of all, I would say focus on presentation, which is very important part. Because when you work on your presentation and when you present your paper well, that leaves an impact on the examiner, which is very important, right? So make sure you present your paper well. Your paper reflects your sincerity. So you have to ensure that you present your paper well to leave an impact on the examiner. Write neatly. Sometimes in a flow, we just forget and we write very carelessly, but that should be checked, and one should present the paper well. It means one should write neatly so that your paper is readable. Spelling errors, I guess, is the very common flaw, and we often make spelling errors, but you have to avoid the spelling errors to avoid deduction of marks, because it can lead to deduction of marks. So please make sure that you avoid any such spelling error during your English exam. Grammatical errors. If you are grammatically sound, I'm sure you would not make such errors, but at the same time, as I said, sometimes carelessly we tend to make grammatical errors, right? So please make sure that you don't make such grammatical errors during the exam. Later we regret, right? So you just need to be a little cautious during your exam and avoid such mistakes. Write to the point whatever has been asked. Sometimes we just exceed the word limit, which is not actually desirable. So try to write to the point answers. Whatever needs to be written should be written, and avoid writing unnecessarily, right? So that would definitely help you in getting the perfect score. When we talk about writing skills, when we talk about letter writing and analytical paragraph writing, because these are the two questions based on writing in your class 10th English. So I would say that it is very important to follow the proper format, because following proper format will leave an impression on the examiner, and there would be less chances of deduction of marks. So make sure you follow a proper format, be it letter writing or analytical paragraph writing. So there are some common errors that usually children make when they attempt writing portion. The first thing is that in the format, when I talk about the format, subject needs to be written, and please avoid writing respected, the word respected. When you write a formal letter, we usually avoid writing respected, but many a times, even after giving repeated instructions, children write respected, which should be avoided. I would also say that the word sincerely is usually like many children write it incorrectly, right? They make the spelling error and they need to work on that as well. So the word sincerely, it spells Sincerely. Do work on that also and keep that in mind that you have to avoid such mistakes during the exam. Just look for the punctuation marks. Usually we avoid punctuation in sender's and addressee's address, and write in 3 paragraphs, which is again very important. Sometimes children write in 1 paragraph and that will definitely lead to deduction of marks. For analytical paragraph writing, it needs to be written in 1 paragraph, and when we say 1 paragraph, it must include the introduction, then describing the trends and an apt conclusion. The word limit is 120 words for both the writings, so it should be attempted accordingly. Read the passages carefully. Many a times it happens that children share that their marks are usually deducted in multiple choice questions. How that can be avoided? For that, I would say a careful reading is required. If you are not able to understand the passage, give it another reading. Take your time, stay calm and patient during exam, and just go through that paragraph again, and I'm sure you would be able to attempt that MCQ correctly. So don't be under any pressure when you are giving exam. It's very important to stay calm and composed during exam. So I'm sure that way you won't make any mistake in MCQs also, and you would be able to score perfect 10 in your passages. Utilize the reading time. 15 minutes are given to you in the very beginning before the exam starts. So those 15 minutes should be utilized properly. Give a very careful reading to your paper and just figure out which section you are going to attempt first, and there you need to be very careful. So 15 minutes, a very careful reading is required. Make sure you attempt the questions you are 100% sure of in grammar section. So there are 12 questions, and out of 12 questions, you just need to attempt 10 questions. So make sure you attempt those 10 which you are 100% sure of to avoid any deduction, right? So during reading time only, you just go through the questions and see which 10 questions you are sure about and attempt accordingly, and I'm sure you will be able to get perfect 10 in grammar as well. For extract based questions also, because you have choice in both the extracts, so just see which extract is better for you. I would say look for the MCQs. See if you can attempt MCQs correctly, right? And if you can attempt the MCQ of that particular extract, if you know the answer, then just go for it. Because usually there are chances of deduction of marks in MCQs only. So make sure you attempt extract that you are 100% sure of. Next is short answer type questions need to be written to the point. Why to beat around the bush? Why to write the story when you can write to the point answers, right? So whatever has been asked, write as per the prescribed word limit and to the point answer, because examiner knows the story. So you don't have to tell the story to the examiner. Come to the point and write whatever has been asked. So I'm sure this way you will be able to get perfect 3 in short answer type questions as well. After short, we have long answer type questions, and there also I would say many a times children write very complicated answers that actually creates confusion in the mind of an examiner, and your marks might get deducted that way. So to avoid that, please avoid write complicated answers, right? And you can even write in paragraphs also if you want to write. Next, make sure you attempt the questions from the section, all the questions. Say for example, if you choose section A first, then make sure you attempt both the passages and then move on to the next section. Or even if you're attempting section C first, I mean literature, make sure you attempt all the questions including extracts, short answer type questions and long answer type questions, and then move on to the other section. But you have to attempt all the questions of that particular section that you choose to attempt first. So I would say if you follow all these instructions, I'm sure you would be able to score 80 out of 80 in English. It's not that difficult, right? So it's all in our hands, but it's just that we need to follow these basic instructions, and then definitely success is guaranteed. No one can stop you from getting the success. So I wish you all the best for your exam, and I'm sure if you keep all these instructions in mind, you would be able to score perfect 80 in English. But then, as I say, you have been revising the topics, you have been practicing enough, but if you don't keep these instructions in mind, you may not get a good score. So make sure at this point of time, when you are left with just 2 days, these instructions are very, very important. So all the very best. Take good care. Thank you.